The time to pull the curtain back on this subject is long overdue. We have statements from the most credible sources, those in a position to know about a fascinating phenomenon, the nature of which is yet to be determined. The statement above comes from John Podesta, Chief of Staff for Bill Clinton and counselor to Barack Obama. It's a powerful statement, because it's true. We now have witness testimony from hundreds upon hundreds of high-ranking, very credible people from within politics and government, military, and intelligence agencies saying that the UFO and extraterrestrial phenomenon is indeed real and deserves serious attention. If you put two and two together, it's clear that Dr. Brian O'Leary, former NASA astronaut, states, "There is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, that civilizations have been contacting us for a very long time. But it's not just the UFO and extraterrestrial phenomenon that seems to be gaining more transparency. Strange things have been observed in space. Perhaps this is why the Russian government recently called for an international investigation regarding the missing film footage of the U.S. moon landings, or why a U.S. defense physicist and the deputy manager of the Clementine mission to the moon recently blew the whistle on what's really up there." Major General Albert Stubblebine can be added to the long list. Although he did not participate in the citizens' hearing on UFO disclosure, where a number of military, political, academic, and government personnel testified to several former congressional members, his credentials speak for themselves. General Stubblebine is a retired United States Major General. He was also the commanding general of the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command, INSCOM, and one of America's most distinguished soldiers and Chief of U.S. Army Intelligence, with 16,000 soldiers under his command. He was a major proponent of psychic warfare and a key player in the Stargate project, which was a remote viewing program. Remote viewing can be defined in multiple ways. It's the ability of individuals to describe a remote geographical location up to several 100,000 kilometers away, sometimes even more, from their physical location. The results of this project were declassified and published in the peer-reviewed Journal of Scientific Exploration. In this program, individuals successfully described physical objects that were nowhere near their physical location. These programs were the inspiration behind the movie Men Who Stare at Goats. Here's what General Stubblebine had to say about Mars, perhaps thanks to some intel from the remote viewing program. "There are structures on the surface of Mars. I will tell you for the record that there are structures underneath the surface of Mars that cannot be seen by the Voyager cameras that went by in 1976. I will also tell you that there are machines on the surface of Mars and there are machines under the surface of Mars that you can look at, you can find out in detail, you can see what they are, where they are, who they are, and a lot of detail about them." Dolan, Richard. UFOs and the National Security State, New York, Richard Dolan Press. I'll let you think about that for a moment. Is it really that far-fetched? With all of the recent UFO and extraterrestrial phenomenon disclosure happening within the past few years, is it really hard to fathom the existence of structures, bases, etc. on the Moon and on Mars?